Just doing a quick test. Test. Can you hear me? We'll be going live here in just about a minute. Just doing a quick test. Test. Can you hear me? We'll be going live here in just about a minute. Just doing a quick test. There's the echo. All right. We'll be going live here in just about a minute. Just doing a quick test. There's the echo. All right. We'll be going live here in just about a minute. Just doing a quick test. There's the echo. All right. We'll be going live here in just about a minute. Just doing a quick test. There's the echo. All right. We'll be going live here in just about a minute. Just doing a quick test. There's the echo. All right. We'll be going live here in just about a minute. Just doing a quick test. All righty. Well, we're off and running. Welcome. I'm Patrick Kincaid with Master Private Label. This is day 3 of the Amazon Selling Masterclass, and I thank you for being here. Let's see. We've had an exciting couple days leading up to today, and we've been going through a lot of learning. Well, I've been introducing y'all to something that's not discussed much at all, right? And that is selling on Amazon, but with a climate-friendly or climate-forward focus. And there's a lot of really successful brands that are doing this. And I could only imagine what it's like for the people who run those brands, and I'm one of them, who are able to come home at the end of the day or go into the dining room at the end of the day after they move from their home office or whatever, and they've done their work for the day, and really feel good about the fact that they're making a difference on the planet. They're making an impact, and they're also making an impact on their family. And that's what this is all about. It's all about really harnessing the power of the Amazon platform, which has been at the top of the e-commerce world for years now. But the fact that it's still an amazing opportunity, and even more so if you're striving to make a difference and not just sell, as I say, unnecessary, useless plastic crap, right? Okay, so that's what we're here to do today. We're in the Amazon Selling Masterclass. This is day 3, and we are talking about your green brand and products and your business, right? So I'm going to be going through some details to show you exactly what you can be doing in each of those 3 things: your brand, your products, and your business practices, to make this making a difference thing happen. Okay. All right. So let's recap. Yesterday, we were all about valuing your earth and your business. I really introduced and kind of explained how Amazon and climate change and greenhouse gases and the whole production sequence kind of takes place and interacts with each other, right? So when you're talking about sourcing a product, it's manufactured, the whole time when you're designing the product, and then it starts getting manufactured, and then it goes and gets shipped from overseas or from here in the United States, from wherever, gets shipped, and then it arrives at the Amazon warehouse, and then the customer orders it, and it gets shipped again out to the customer, and then it might get returned back to Amazon. Then it might get returned from there back to the seller. That whole process, the creation and the transport and the storage and the shipping and the order fulfillment of the product, that's the Amazon product experience. That's the Amazon product life, right? And that has an effect every step along the way on carbon footprint, which equates to more greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, which is increasing the temperature of the planet and the ocean waters, and which is in turn making for crazy climate or climate change, right? So that's what yesterday was all about, okay? So I brought forth the idea, if we stay in that old wasteful product model, you could be missing out on the most lucrative e-commerce market in history, right? And then I answered the question, can we make money on Amazon selling climate-friendly products and having a climate-friendly brand? And I answered that question. Hopefully you got that answer. If you have not seen that training, you can go ahead and check that out. And if you're live here with the Masterclass, then the replay is available for you. And I definitely recommend you check that out. I got off of that training and I was just wandering around really pumped up and excited, because mostly because of the comments I got afterwards, but also because I knew as I watched back over that training that this really is a legitimate, impactful way to do things with an Amazon brand. And I really realized it as I looked over my clients and my own businesses that have been harnessing this idea of making a difference with a climate forward business on Amazon. Those that have been harnessing this idea have been really, really successful, and successful at not just selling on Amazon and profiting and making, higher and higher revenue, but successful at making a difference. And that just really, 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 it really impacted me yesterday after I got off this live training. So, all right. So that's a recap on what we did yesterday. Today, make a difference and make money, right? And today I'm going to tell you the how. Okay. I'm going to tell you the how. Actually, I'm going to tell you the what and mixed with the how. Okay. So we're going to be talking about building an earth forward brand and how you can crush your competition. We can talk about finding the best product ideas and how that makes all the difference in the private label world. There's many ways to find profitable green products, but why not learn Patrick's best? Okay. So I'm going to actually kind of take a sidebar on this one, and I'm going to focus more on what you could do differently when you're hunting for products. Now, my coaching programs and my group program, my master's group, they all learn the ins and outs and every little fine detail and all the 20 some odd places that we can find product ideas. And perhaps I'll share as a bonus, a live walkthrough where I will go through and you can look over my shoulder as I use 4 or 5 of my favorite places to find products and favorite places, resources, sites to not only find products, but also differentiate or innovate those products. I think I'll share that as a bonus, and you guys can check that out. And really, you can see how actually finding a workable product on Amazon can take shape in a very short amount of time. And I think it took me about, it's less than an hour, but I think I have one example walkthrough where you can see me do it in less than or about 20 minutes. Okay, where I'll actually go do some product research. Right, one of the things that holds sellers up the most. In fact, through the years, if there was one thing that most sellers came to me when they're having an issue with, and that is product research. All right, everybody makes such a big deal out of it, and they delay, they find a product idea, and then they don't want to pull the trigger. Find the ideas, validate them. Once you've validated them, then differentiate them. I mean, that is how we teach it here. We search for them, then we validate them, then we innovate them or differentiate them. Okay. So on today's training, I'm going to take that from a standpoint of what to do about making your products that you find climate friendly. Okay. Climate forward. So hopefully together with the bonus, or if you're one of my master's group students or my coaching students, you'll see the gap being bridged here. There's finding a normal everyday product or any product on Amazon that can be successful. There's that process. And then there's this extra component or this new way to go about doing things where we actually enhance that product by making it more climate friendly. Okay. And then lastly, they're talking up the outdoors with your brand story and product listings to attract more earth conscious customers. So we're kind of talking about how you approach your brand, the products you develop, and your business practices every day, and how to make those profitable and earth forward. Okay. All right. So making a difference to planet, people, and profits. Okay. We want to help our planet. We want to help our fellow humans. We want to help our business. Right. So we're going to do so, like I referred to a second ago, through our brand, our products, and our business practices. Okay, so we're helping three things with three things through three different avenues. And our business, our Amazon business is made up. Your Amazon or your e-com business, it doesn't matter if you're on Amazon or Walmart or your own Shopify store, they're made up of three components. Okay, there's your brand, your overarching brand, right, that sells all the products, but the brand, with your branding, your messaging, your core values that you put out there to the world through your website, through your social media, through your promotions and your advertising, through your talking to people and promoting your business. That's what you're doing, is you're selling the idea of your brand. You're sharing your brand. And that's usually based on your core values as a person or as a leader in your organization. Whatever your core values of your organization are, they come through in your brand. Okay. So you want to keep those core values front and center. And how we're going to do that with our product, with our brand here, when we're discussing what we're discussing today to make a difference. I'm going to talk about regional focus, only using sustainable materials, and promoting outdoor spaces. Okay. I'm going to go into those three. Next component of your e-commerce business is your products. Okay. And I'm going to introduce today 4 ways to have your products make a difference as well as be profitable, right? Sustainably sourced, better materials, climate-friendly packaging, and people-safe, efficient design. Okay, I'm going to go through those in detail. I'm also going to be giving you some case studies for both of those, both of the brand and the products realms there. Okay, and lastly, your business practices, and this is how you run your business every day, like boots on the ground, what you're doing, not necessarily only in developing your products, but how you're running your business in general. Okay. And we're going to talk about running your business more sustainably, putting your profits to work, like by donating, and then enrolling in Amazon programs. Okay. And this shouldn't be super long. I think yesterday we came in at right at an hour. Excuse me. Today, I hope to get it under an hour. Okay. I don't want to dilly-dally, but I want to give you guys full on training here and really get you to understand this concept of what a e-com business looks like that's successful, but also what one looks like that's making a difference to our planet. Okay. All right. I'm going to take a drink here. I don't know what. Went to the gym this morning and it'd been a few days, so maybe my body's a little bit freaking out. Okay. So to begin with, 3 ways to make a difference with your brand, right? Okay. Number 1, regional focus. So most products on Amazon, 95% of them, they are sourced from out of the United States. And I'm talking about Amazon.com, right? There's lots of different Amazon channels across the planet. There's Amazon Canada, Amazon Mexico, Amazon Spain, Amazon EU, Amazon Australia, Amazon Japan, all over the place, lots of different channels. What I'm talking about is Amazon.com, or if you're in one of those other channels, when you're importing products from some other place where they're being made. Okay. So how about you try making a regional focus, looking at home first, whether that's in the United States, if you're a .com seller, or in Australia, if you're a .au seller, right? if you get your products regionally or from, you know, if I source my products from here on the Western United States or even from the United States anywhere, that would have a drastically significant effect on the impact of my business and of my brand. Okay. So what I do and what I teach and is do your best to go look first when you find that product idea and you've validated and you've differentiated, you figured out how to make it different and figured out how to make it yours and make it match with your brand values. When you're going to go out and source it, why don't you look closer to home? Why, 95% of the products that have been sourced in the last, 15, 20 years from Asia. Okay. But manufacturing is starting to come back to the United States. It went away for a long time. And people are always asking, well, why are we getting everything from China? Well, because everybody, everything's made in China because we stopped making it here, right? What happened is American business figured out a couple decades ago that instead of paying really high prices here to have things made because of the high cost of labor and the high cost of the plants and the real estate and all that and all the regulations and whatnot, why not go pay Chinese workers 15 cents an hour and have those factories make our products? And of course, at that time, China was coming up from a place where they, a lot of people have been hungry in that country for many, many years. Okay. A lot of people have been hungry. So China needed to do something about it. And then in the early 90s, they did something about it. They took on some national core values where their goal was to come up in the world. China's been very isolated for thousands of years, right? They've really kept to themselves. And in the early 90s, the leadership at that time decided to bring them out into the world and to join the global commerce market and to become a powerhouse in that. And that's exactly what they have done in a short amount of time. And they did so by starting to make more things, right? China's really good at manufacturing, really good. And this old adage that, it's crap if it's made in China, of course, that's not true. I mean, your iPhone, everything around you is a version of it is made in China. Okay. And that's from the cheapest of things all the way up to the highest quality multi-million-dollar machines and computers made in China. Right. They've gotten very good at manufacturing. And so largely due to the businesses who started just importing product from there instead of making it here at home. Okay. So we kind of went from a powerhouse in manufacturing in the United States to not manufacturing much at all. I mean, even just like 4 or 5 years ago when I'd go do my product research and then I'd go find, I found a good product idea and I would start out trying to source it from the United States. Most products, I couldn't find anybody who made it at all in the United States. And if I did, there was maybe one manufacturer, two manufacturers, and they were so inundated with work and they really were not that hungry to make my product for me. And I would talk to them and I wouldn't hear back from them for 2 weeks. And then I'd talk to them again. I could get a hold of suppliers in Asia and 5 minutes later get contacted back. And it didn't matter if it was 3 a.m. in China, right? Still to this day, they're really on top of things in Asia. So that's the reason why we've been sourcing mostly from Asia. But what I'm telling you today, look back nearer to home because there's a lot of manufacturing that's returning to the United States. Okay. It's returning. All right. So that regional focus, what will it get us? So much less transit pollution, right? You can see the little map there. Shipping goods from Asia all the way across the Pacific Ocean if you're going to the West Coast, or all the way across Europe if you're going to the East Coast, or all the way around the southern tip of Europe, usually through in between Africa and Europe, going to the East Coast. That is a lot of time in a boat pumping out a lot of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. Okay. So that transit, and not to mention the transit across China. If your product's made there and where the star is on China on that little map there, and they still have to get it to the port at the coast there. They have to freight it on a truck all the way from that star all the way over to the coast where the ports are, right? So there's that transit pollution that's created, okay? So you'll cut all that coming across China and on that whole blue arrow coming across the sea, you cut all that pollution out. You cut all that transportation out. And you can just source it from the United States, and all you have to do is travel it from wherever you are having it made in the United States to the Amazon warehouse, right? Okay. Second, so much less cost because you're transporting it a lot less distance. It costs you a lot less. Shipping costs in recent years, I mean, when the ports were backed up outside of the West Coast this last year, the shipping costs went through the roof, right? And they even went through the roof before that with the whole COVID shortage of products, especially those essentials. They have not come back down all the way. They've come back down mostly, but they fluctuate, especially with sea freight and air freight coming from Asia. It fluctuates up and down, and it's more expensive now than it was, say 4 years ago. Okay. It hasn't ever come back down to those lower levels. So it costs a lot less if you don't have to ship stuff across the seas. All right. And then lastly here, less time to market when it comes to less time to market. You get to save all that transit time, right? You're only shipping a few days, maybe freight in the United States, as opposed to a few days freight from China to the port. And then, 20 days from the port to the port in the United States. And then another 2 weeks sitting there in customs because they're holding it up because you got something wrong in the paperwork. And then from there, got to go to your 3PL, has to get repackaged and then freighted. Then you got to wait for Amazon. And lo and behold, you're 6 weeks later when you're shipping it from Asia, whereas you're 3 days later when you're shipping it from the United States. It's a big difference. That's time that it could be stocked in Amazon, making you money every single day with selling units. Okay, so less time to market, right? That's what a regional focus will get you. Made in the USA, stamped on your product and on your brand and on your everything you put out there, will sell better, especially to those customers who want a product that is making a difference to our climate. Okay, making a difference to global pollution, carbon footprint, all that. If they see that made in the USA stamp, people who are shopping for those products, they understand if it's sourced closer to home, it creates less transit pollution, and that alone in and of itself inspires people to buy your product more. So just that made in the USA stamp there. And guess what? We help by how we put our brand out there into the world. We help people recognize that we are sourcing our products from the United States as often as we can. And we will be, teaching people through our brand messaging how that makes a bigger difference on the planet. Okay. We go deeper into that in my group coaching, as far as when you're doing your advertising and when you're doing your marketing, when you're out there in social media, kind of the messaging that you put out there to help people understand the core values of your brand and identify those core values with their core values. It's all about connecting your brand and what you stand for with the same things that your audience, that your customers stand for, right? And that made in the USA stamp helps to do that. Okay. And then lastly, replenish inventory sooner. A regional focus when it comes to where you get your products helps you replenish inventory sooner. So let's say it's mid-October and you completely blew it because you thought you had more inventory than you did. You ended up selling a lot more this last month than you planned on. Good thing that happened there, right? You sold more than you planned on. Awesome. But now you're going to run out. You forecast that you're going to run out by December 1st of product, right in the middle of quarter 4. And let's say your product really sells like hotcakes around, quarter 4. What are you going to do, right? If you're sourcing your product, if you got it from Asia, from China, let's say, you can't order your product right now and wait the 30 days it takes them to even start to even finish making it. Okay, 30 days from like mid-October would be mid-November. And then if it's bigger product that you can't ship by air and you have to ship by sea, mid-November, leaving the factory to go to the port to ship by sea, it's not going to get to Amazon until 4 days before Christmas. You've just missed the entire season, and there's no way around that, right? You could ship by air, but quite often, if it's a slightly bigger product or slightly, larger or heavier, shipping by air ends up costing you so much more, and it takes so much out of your profit margin, right? But you still have to wait the 30 days. So you got the 30 days and plus 7 to get it shipped by air. You're still coming in at the end of November. If you're lucky, if Amazon checks it in, quickly, which it doesn't happen during Q4. Usually it takes them about a week, right? So then you're into the second week of December still if you ship by air from Asia. So on the flip side of that, what if you're sourcing from the United States? If you're sourcing from the United States and you contact them mid-October and they say 30 days to get it made, well, okay, cool. So 30 days, that would be mid-November. And then 3 days to get it to Amazon. That would be November 18th. Another, 7 days for Amazon to check it in. Actually, mid-November might be 5 days to check it in. They'll at least show it in stock when it first arrives at the Amazon warehouse and it's received. So we're November 18th, November 20th or so, it's going to show in stock. You can start selling those units. That's about typically 4 or 5 days before Black Friday. You've made it. Cool. You did so by not even ordering until mid-October, right? You typically want to order your product in August or earlier for the holidays. So this thing doesn't happen, right? But if you're sourcing regionally, boom, life's a lot easier. And throughout the year, you don't have to store stuff for so long and make such a forecast of how much inventory you need so many months out, right? If it only takes you 30 days and plus 3 shipping, 33 days from the time you order until it is for sale on Amazon, because you're sourcing from the United States, 33 days, you don't have to order as much at a time, right? You can order 60 days worth of product at a time instead of 6 months worth of product at a time. 60 days worth of product is 1/3 the cost of 6 months of product, okay? So you have to come up with less cash at a time. Cash flow, big thing in e-commerce, big thing, cash flow. So when you're sourcing regionally, and you have a regional focus on where you're getting your products made, you really do significantly help your cash flow situation. In addition, if you're in the United States and you're a resident citizen here, you're used to speaking American, and dealing with suppliers in the United States is a heck of a lot easier because it's within your own culture. It's within your own fellow people here in your country, right? When you're dealing with sourcing from Asia or any other place that's not your home country, you have to learn their ways. You have to learn, like, for instance, in China, there's this thing called Guangxi. I think I'm pronouncing that wrong, but it's a whole business attitude, way of doing business with people, and it's about developing personal relationships in business and in life in general. You have to understand that if you're going to successfully work with suppliers in China, okay? But you probably don't know that if you're not from China or familiar with Chinese culture. So you have to learn that. Whereas if you're sourcing from the United States and you're an American citizen already, it's a lot easier to call up your supplier and work with them, because you don't have to learn new dialogue, new lingo, new habits, new communication, ways to communicate. You don't have to learn how things are done. You already know how they're done. All right. Number 2 way to make a difference with your brand: use sustainable materials. Okay. This is usually what people think of first when they're thinking about how to be a more sustainable brand, using sustainable materials. So why I put this under brand was, you can just make it one of your core values. Like, we only have our products made out of materials that are sustainable. We don't want to make things that are plastic that's going to end up in the oceans and end up in our drinking water, we want to stick to things that are going to be, like bamboo or organic cotton or 100 other things that you can make products out of that are sustainable. We want them to be carbon neutral. We want them to, we want to have less soil pollution, right? When we're sourcing organic plant products, for instance, you don't have to. That means that there's not bad, damaging fertilizers that's put into the soil, so you got less soil pollution. Using sustainable materials is better for people, right? So if you just make that your one of your goals of your brand, you're going to be producing goods that are better for people. Okay. And you can get certified for Amazon approved program badges when you use sustainable materials. We'll talk a lot more about that tomorrow. The certifications that really, that's where the rubber meets the road on Amazon. You need to get a certification, at least one, in order to be approved for the Amazon program that we're really going after here. Okay. So using sustainable materials, that's number 2 in making a difference with your brand. And number 3, this is kind of a quirky one, but it puts forth an idea that is very important and very impactful on the planet if you can embrace this. Okay. And that is promote outdoor spaces and sustainability. So back to that brand promotion idea. Okay. So you can use your images and copy on your product listings to promote outdoor spaces and sustainability, right? You can show your product being used outdoors, or show your product being used with children, with a scene behind it of nice green space, or, a baby that looks safe and comfortable and warm. And you're calling attention to your brand's habits, right? You can do that as well. Those are kind of promoting sustainability. When it comes to promoting outdoor spaces, you can do like John Muir did when he was guiding Teddy Roosevelt to create and protect national parks. Now, you're like, what does that have to do with my kitchen organizer that I sell? What does it have to do with selling kitchen organization? Selling products for the kitchen? Well, your customers, if you're selling kitchen items, and let's say yours are bamboo kitchen tools, right? Let's say that's your niche, that's your products that you sell. How does this doing like John Muir and guiding Teddy Roosevelt to create and protect national parks, what does that have to do with me, right? Well, let me point out what John Muir did. Okay, so John Muir was an early explorer in the late 1800s and early 1900s in the United States. He loved to go to Alaska, and he loved the Sierra Nevada mountains, where Yosemite National Park is, and Kings Canyon Sequoia National Park is out here in California. He loved going to those places, and he was going there before a lot of other people were. And it just so happened that he was going out there and exploring and hanging out by himself and going way far out in the wilderness and spending weeks out there. And really just because he loved the beauty of it and he loved exploring the natural world. Well, it just so happens that he started to notice loggers come in and start chopping down all the enormous trees that are thousands of years old, and they're giant, right? I don't know, 40 hugs around. They're like huge trees. If you've never hiked into Sequoia National Park, I definitely recommend it. Even if you just drive there and take a day trip, a short little hike, you can go through the giant sequoias, by walking 100 yards from your car. Okay. You don't have to go on a long hike to see these. They are giants and they're amazing. You can feel how big they are when you walk into a forest with giant sequoias there. Okay. Well, John noticed these getting chopped down, and he knew with how beautiful these places were, and they were already getting mined for the materials. They were going to go away and be gone, and he wouldn't get to enjoy them anymore if he didn't do something about it. So what he did is he went and he got Teddy Roosevelt and convinced him to come take a trip out west and to see a couple of places, right? And that's a picture of John right there on the right with Teddy Roosevelt on the left. They're standing up above Yosemite Valley, and they're looking down into Yosemite there. Was taken when he actually took Teddy Roosevelt out there to show him the beauty of Yosemite National Park. It wasn't a national park then, because there was no such thing as national parks then. This one act of John Muir bringing the president out to see Yosemite National Park inspired Teddy. He saw these places and saw these giant trees and saw the beauty and the amazement of it. And he's like, we got to do something to protect this. We got to do something. This is something that's worthy of not ever being swept from the planet by human activity, right? So he immediately went and formed the national park system, and Yellowstone and the other hundreds of national parks we have now, they are beautiful places that are protected. You can't go mine there. You can't do anything there that's going to degrade that natural environment and diminish it. Okay. So the idea here is that John Muir, by bringing Teddy out into it and letting him experience it for himself, was able to make serious change happen, right? John Muir didn't go form the national park system. He just went to the guy, the president, who did it himself. Okay. So the same thing with our brands on Amazon and in e-commerce. If you bring this messaging of outdoor spaces, of a cleaner planet, of a greener planet, of a less carbon footprint, lower greenhouse gas emissions, ice staying around, polar bears not drowning, you bring all that messaging through your brand any way you can, you're gonna bring that experience to people, and the idea that people are like, oh yeah, I need to buy this product, because if I'm going to choose one of these products, if I'm looking for kitchen gadgets, I know that by buying my product from these guys, because of the bamboo, because of that being equated with being greener and keeping our planet greener and keeping us less hot and less wind blown and less hurricane blasted, then I'm making a difference. And this is the product I want to buy. These are the kitchen tools I want to buy, not those other ones that are plastic or none of the other ones. I want these ones. Okay. And they're actually making a difference. You're not actually making a difference, but you're guiding your customers to you to buy your product. And you know that you've gone through these efforts that I'm pointing out to you today in your brand and in your products and in your business practices, where when they buy a product from you, they are doing better for the planet than if they buy a product from someone who does not give a shit about doing these things that are making a difference to the planet. Okay. It's kind of a big old bundle of fun there that I just kind of explained, but hopefully it makes sense. And there's no, I'm not telling you to go and put pictures of national parks on your product listings. Okay. It's about finding how you can connect that making a difference in the world to your products. I just explained it with the kitchen implements, like kitchen gadgets. Like how? Well, because your brand does things more sustainably, because bamboo is more sustainable. Sell that, market that, put that message out there and sell it. And when I say sell it, I mean connect that, the results from that, connect those results to what your customers are looking for in results in the way they buy a product. Okay. Next. Okay. So a brand case study. This is a big one that is really sums up how you can successfully develop a brand that makes a difference and is highly profitable. Okay. I had a client, Lita. She started a brand 4 or 5 years ago, and she ran it for a number of years, exclusively one brand. About 3 years in, she started a second brand. Okay. But this first brand was a natural organic dog wellness brand. She made everything in the United States, stamped made in USA on it, and everything was organic. It was all natural organic pet products for dogs. Okay. She kept it to 6 higher priced products only, and they weren't the cheapest in the market. They were some of the most expensive. So if you looked up dog calming dog treats, hers would be the most expensive on the page, and it would be one of the only ones that was organic and made in the United States. And it was really, her messaging was all about Oh my gosh. And she showed a lot of pictures on her products of getting your dog out and enjoying the outdoor world and, loving you and hugging you and hanging out with your kids and really bridge the gap between natural, organic, best things you can give your dog to make their life much, as best as you can make it because they're part of your family, right? All of her marketing was in that direction. And she ran her business according to these values. The made in the USA and the organic alone really made a difference in what she did in her everyday actions with her business and shipping stuff. All that made made a whole lot less of a footprint on the world climatically. Okay. So they were well made and they were safe products. She sold her brand last year, about 4 years into it, for $3 million. She never scaled beyond her running the business. And it's not like she was working 20 hours a day for 3 years on it. She worked her butt off for the first year. Right? She put the time in, and then every time she would launch a new product until she got it up to 6, she'd put the time in. It takes a few months to get a product researched and sourced and all that stuff and to bring it to market and then market it and launch it and everything else. You put the work in, but then once you get it up, you kind of just manage it and you start working on the next product. But she did all that by herself. Her husband helped a little bit on the back end with running the numbers and stuff, but it was mostly her. 4 years. 4 years. Went from 0 to 3 million. Sold it. She kept her new, more favorite brand, was making more money. Now she sold it for 3 million, but she also probably made about 3 million in profit during those 4 years, right? She was making profit from the brand while it was running, and then she sold it for 3 million cash. Okay. So now she's got 4 years of earnings that was keeping her family going and building her business. She was paying her a paycheck. And then she added a lump sum of 3 million to that. And she still had her second brand that she started, a couple years prior. That was her favorite brand. So she sold one, she kept one. And she was able to do all this using this model that I'm talking to you about, right? So now she gets to run her new favorite brand. I got a call from her a while back, and she asked, Patrick, do you happen to know anything about hiring people? I'm like, what? You just sold your brand for $3 million and you've been running a really successful 2 brands now for quite some time. Yeah, but I never really hired anybody. I was doing all this myself. I can hire freelancers and whatnot, but hiring a team, because I guess the people she sold the brand to actually kept her on salary to help transition them into taking over the brand. And they wanted to build a team that could do what she was doing. And a lot of the other things that she was hiring out to freelancers, they wanted her to build an actual team of people that were part of the company. And she didn't know how to do that because she'd ran it all by herself. So not totally difficult. You don't have to scale to a huge mega business with 40 employees in order to sell your business for millions, right? In order to sell your business for millions. I have a feeling if she would have held on to that bad boy or shopped it around a little bit more, could have possibly sold it to a Petco or somebody like that, right? She wanted to go on to her second brand. Yeah, so sell it for $3 million. Go on to my second brand. That's making her more money now, right? She'll sell that probably for $6 million in a couple more years, and might have another brand, or she might just call it good. 10 years in the Amazon world, 8 years in the Amazon world. I got $8 million cash from those, plus all those earnings all those years. I'm retiring. Probably that's what's going to happen. All right. 4 ways to make a difference with your products. I'm going to speed this up a little bit because I spend all that time on brands, but very important. 4 ways to make a difference with your products. We're going to be talking about this a lot more tomorrow. But number 1, sourcing from earth-focused manufacturers. Remember that goal number 2 of Apple I discussed yesterday. Their first goal is to make their actions, their distribution centers, their offices, their stores, they wanted to make them all using sustainable energy only, and they've done that. They've succeeded at doing that. Their goal number 2 to become more sustainable is to have their supply chains be sustainable. So if you source from earth-focused manufacturers, then you're doing wonders, because you're taking out all that. You're dealing with and minimizing the pollution that comes from manufacturing things in a way that is the most wasteful. Okay. For example, if your manufacturers are using recycled materials and they're not having to use materials that are being taken from raw compounds and made into, into whatever you're using to make your product. If they're using recycled materials, then you don't have to pollute the atmosphere with all those, the part of the process that takes raw materials and makes it into materials for making goods. Okay. So if your supplier, and there's a ton of them out there, even if you're sourcing from China, there's a lot of suppliers that put an effort into being more sustainable in their manufacturing. Okay. So that's one thing you can do with your products, is source them from someone who's earth focused as a manufacturer. Number 2, using friendly materials. I mentioned this with the brand, but actually doing this with each product, recycled, organic, sustainable materials. Okay. You see that Sustainability Excellence in Manufacturing Awards. You don't just have to go talk to every single supplier out there that makes your kitchen gadget and ask them one by one, hey, are you more earth friendly? Are you sustainable? Do you do this? You can go to look up suppliers who have received awards, such as the Sustainability Excellence in Manufacturing Awards, and source from those companies, right? Okay. All right. Third way to make a difference with your products, reduce the packaging size. This not only minimizes dead air space, but it's less expensive and faster. So reducing the packaging size, this is a huge one, okay? We've all got, and I mentioned this, I think, yesterday or day before yesterday, we've all purchased products. In fact, half the products we get, if they come in a box, typically there's a whole bunch of airspace in there, right? There's a bunch of dead airspace. Cereal is a big one, right? Potato chips. Let's say you're ordering potato chips and they're being made in China, okay? You got potato chips, even if they're being made down the street in the United States or across the country, right? When you have a bag of potato chips that's packed only half full of potato chips and the rest is air and it's a big old poofy bag, you can only fit 4 of those in a box. If you remove all that dead airspace and just make the bag this big, you can fit 12 of those in a box, okay? One box, no matter if there's 4 in it or 12 in it, takes up the same space in trucks and in boats, right? And I did explain this yesterday pretty thoroughly. So if you can reduce your packaging size for the same product, it's the same amount of chips, you can sell it for the same amount of money because the value is in the amount of chips, right? How many chips they get to eat, that's what they're paying for. If you can reduce the packaging size, you can still sell it for the same price or more, actually, because people care. Your customers especially are going to care. Hey, man, this guy's look at the size of that cereal box. Look how small it is. It's so cute. And you're going to, same amount as a big Cheerios box, same quantity. You can even do more, right? You could give them more cereal in a smaller box. They're going to love you because they're buying, a smaller box. Everybody understands this. When you open a cereal box or a chip bag and it's full of air, you're like, what the heck? Every time I'm around somebody who opens a new chip bag, it doesn't matter if they're my kids, it doesn't matter who they are. They're like, wow, look at all the airspace. Like, I already got any chips in this bag. This is lame. It's almost misleading and it makes you mad, right? You feel like you've been misled. So now I always go to the store. I'm like, I'll pick up the bag and how heavy is, what's the ounces of this thing? I even look at the ounces. How many chips are actually in this thing, right? So if you can reduce the packaging size, you minimize that dead airspace, and it's so much cheaper to ship. You can fit 3 times as many bags of chips in your box that you're shipping in the boat. Space on a boat, mostly calculated by the volume. The weight figures into that a little bit, but it's mostly the volume, the amount of space things are taking up. That's what, you can fit less things on a boat, which means you got to ship more. You use more boats to move stuff around if you're wasting space in your packaging. And there's so much more pollution that's happening. It's totally unnecessary, completely unnecessary. Okay. It's a new day and age, folks. We don't need to be doing things these old ways anymore. And that's where we're coming in right now and telling you how to capitalize on doing things this new way. People are going to appreciate. Customers are going to flock to your products because of you doing things the new way. Okay. Number 4, create more efficient products. Remove the water from your product. If your product has water in it, why are you shipping it across the world with water in it? Why not make it into a concentrated form and have the customer add the water at home? Everybody's got water at home, right? Why can't you just add the water yourself at home instead of shipping that water weight and volume all over the place? Again, polluting the atmosphere, having a much higher carbon footprint unnecessarily. There's no point in, like, the water that is packed in that cleaning bottle of cleaning substance in China is not much different at all than the water here in the United States that I could put in this thing when it got to my house. And we don't have to ship any water around, right? So also having a more compact design of the product packaging itself. I'm not talking about the box it goes in, but the product, like the cleaning supply, like I was just mentioned. Because you're making it concentrate, then the plastic or recycled plastic bottle that you're putting it in, or the plant-based material bottle that you're putting it in, smaller. A lot less required to make a smaller bottle. A lot less pollution because it's taking up less space on the boats, right? Okay. Also, back on the number 3 on the reduced packaging size, make sure that when you're packaging things, that you're doing so in an efficient manner so there's no dead air space in the carton with all the individual products in it, right? Make sure that they're filling it all the way up in a way, and that you've designed that whole packing of the carton in a way that minimizes the dead air space between the products in the carton. So you're minimizing the dead air space inside the bag of chips, and you're minimizing the dead air space in between the bags of chips in the carton, right? So it's not just the packaging the product gets into the customer. It's the package, the bigger boxes and the bigger pallets of boxes that you're shipping your product from across the world in, right? Okay. And all of these 2 things, 3 and 4, they lessen transport and storage footprint. Okay. Compact by Design from Amazon is a certification that they came up with where you can reduce, you can do these 2 things here, 3 and 4, and get certified by Amazon for doing them. And then you get an advantage of having that stamp and getting promoted in places where other products don't, just because you are more compact by design. Amazon created that certification. It's an Amazon certification. Okay. More about that tomorrow. Product case study from Alan. Okay. Alan was on, I posted this up in the bonus section of the concierge page. Alan was already running a successful graphic design business, but he was wanting to get his wife's natural organic products up for sale on Amazon. He knew he could be doing more, and he did. Okay. So their ideal customers are near and dear to their heart. Alan started with a few products that his audience loves. He used his branding, images, and video, focused on his products' natural and organic makeup. Again, materials, sustainable materials, organic materials. He focused on that, and he used his pictures and his videos and everything else to help his customers understand, and it resonated like mad, right? Alan has grown from one product to a 6-figure business in a few part-time years. His brand success is finally allowing him to accomplish their 2 main goals: grow their long-term wealth and create products that make a difference to our planet and the many people on it. Here's Alan's numbers from one random month last year. He's doing much more than this now. Gross revenue of 15 grand. Again, he only spends a few hours a week doing this. It's always only been a part-time thing for him. He has a graphic design business, and he helps his wife run her business. Okay. They are hustling with a few different things, right? They've diversified their income and where their efforts are. It's awesome. If he was doing this full time, these numbers would be triple this. Okay, they're already growing way beyond this year. Okay, but net profit on a month that he's spending hardly anything doing, and he's also paying for a lot of his business, his expenses at home and in his home office and everything else. $4,300, $4,400. Look at his margin, 29% margin. That's awesome. Okay, that's fantastic, and that's net margin. Net margin. That's not just margin after he sells his product and pays his Amazon fees. That's net margin after he pays for the cost of goods sold. Accounts for that, accounts for the Amazon fees, accounts for the advertising, accounts for the business expenses, accounts for his software, his bookkeeping, his accountant, all that stuff. 29% margin. Okay. And his ROI, it's good. 166%. Here's his brand here. So purchase with confidence. Look at that. He put it right on his picture there. That's a picture from his Amazon listing. Purchase with confidence. Confidence in what? Well, confidence that the Rain Natural brand is all natural stuff for your baby, right? Organic, all natural. This is who you want to buy from when you're at the grocery store. Look at that. She's right there in the grocery store. It's like you're shopping in the grocery store and buying from her, but you're on Amazon. Cool picture right there. That says so much. By the way, look at that listing health score up there. See the 10? He does really well with putting the best copy and images and video up on his listings to convey his story. Look at there on the left. Rain, healthy family equals happy family, right? That's the brand messaging. And he's bringing sustainability and organicness into that, into everything he does in his brand and in his products. Oh yeah, didn't even mention that. 0 harmful chemicals plus made in the USA. He's got them both right there, right? He's checking off all kinds of boxes. So his customers that they gravitate towards his brand of products, no matter what he launches, they have trust in it now. Okay. So every time he launches a new product, he's already got customers waiting for it. Lastly, and I'm going to be over an hour. I thought it'd be shorter, but I should have known. This is important stuff. All right. Take a drink real quick. I'm a little bit pumped up. You can see I get pumped up about this stuff, folks. Because I've seen the Allens and the Lethas and myself who are making a difference and they're profiting. It's cool. It's a win-win, guys. Win-win. Lastly, 3 ways to make a difference with your business practices. Okay. Number 1 here, run your business more sustainably. I want you to go check out the 11 ways to make your e-commerce business more sustainable. If you're watching this on the live masterclass, it's in the bonuses section of the concierge page. Okay. Just a quick little ebook. Real simple ways that you can start doing life and doing your business every day, things you do, making them more sustainable, right? Some really quick, easy things to do. I want to stress here, baby steps, right? Every little thing you do to run your life and your business more sustainable, it helps, okay? Every little thing helps. And it all snowballs into the bigger idea. My wife said this a while back, and it's so true. Many people have said this, but she said it's, she was looking back over the 6 months prior in her life, and it was like, I thought that it was the big thing that was supposed to happen in the last 6 months that was going to be the significant thing that I realized made the difference in my life in this one component. She was talking about her business. She's like, no, it's every little step each and every day, the little things. They've all added up to this one big success. The one big success doesn't just all of a sudden show up. It doesn't all of a sudden one day you're sustainable in your business and you're selling, you've got all these customers who love you because you're sustainable. That doesn't just happen one day. That happens a combination of all these little things that you're going to be doing, and you're going to add them all up to that one big thing eventually. Okay. That's how it works. Okay. Number 2, put your profits to work. Okay. Your business practices, you can put your profits to work by donating a percentage to your chosen charities. You can find nonprofits and charities that align with your core values. And I've been using charitynavigator.org for about 15 years now. Love it. Found this, wanted to do better with my dollars of donating to charities and nonprofits. And I was like, I think it started out, I was going to donate to, oh my gosh, I forget her name. I was going to donate to somebody I had in mind, and I wanted to go check and see how good they were running their nonprofit, or were they taking all the money and, paying themselves for the expenses of the nonprofit, and really not really doing much with the most of the money. How efficient are they in running their nonprofit? Is it truly nonprofit, or are they sneaking some profit out, which leaves less for the actual charitable thing you want to, give the money to do? So the Charity Navigator helps you to check up on any nonprofit and charity basically in the world. You can go look them up. I did a search for this today, and I searched for public lands, right? Let's say I want to find a charity that either you have a charity in mind already, you can go put that charity name in there. Like the Rainforest Alliance, you could put that in the search bar and they would give you the breakdown on the Rainforest Alliance. Or you can go find charities, right? I put in public lands and it came up with these two here at the top of the list. Public Lands Alliance. I clicked into Public Lands Alliance there, and on the right, it gives me a whole breakdown on everything that they're rating them on. And you've got, finances and accountability, and, 4 different factors there on the right they discuss that shows how efficient they are, what they're doing with the money, how many leaders they have that they're paying too much money to, what impact they're making with their dollars, with the dollars that you're going to give them, right? And they even have a program there that says donate to this charity through our giving basket. So you could come pick a charity in the Charity Navigator, put it in all of your, come pick the charity, sign up for the giving basket in Charity Navigator, where it automates you giving to that charity. So you've already got the automation of doing the actual giving to that charity, but then you go into your product listings and in your branding and your messaging on your website, on your Shopify store and on your Amazon store and everywhere, and you put the stamp for the Public Lands Alliance in there, and you say 4% of every, 5% of all of our profits from this product are donated to the Public Lands Alliance, who has been given a 100 ranking from Charity Navigator. And here's what Public Lands Alliance does, and here's how that aligns with our product and our brand. And people are like, now they don't have to go out and donate to Public Lands Alliance, but you're resonating with everybody who wants to donate to Public Lands Alliance. And obviously, you're going to choose a charity that relates to what your brand is. So if we were using Allen's products as an example, they're all about natural, organic baby products. Go find a charity that really evolves around doing things that parents with small children are wanting to do more for, right? So find some parenting, baby, the future of the planet for children organization and donate to them. And you can put that messaging all over your products. 1, you're making a difference by donating 5% of your profits to that charity. 2, your customers are seeing that and they're buying more product from you. Okay. Making a difference, making more profit. All right. And number 3 of the 3 ways to make a difference with your business practices: enroll in Amazon climate friendly programs. Okay. Now I've alluded to this yesterday. We talked about Climate Pledge Friendly a little bit. I've shown you how, if you have that Climate Pledge Friendly stamp on your product, you can make more profits and it can cost you less money. So win-win, right? So the Climate Pledge Friendly program is a big one. And the Compact by Design I alluded to a minute ago, simply by designing your products and your packaging in a better way, more efficient way, you can get that Compact by Design stamp from Amazon. But there's 36 or more other certifications that you can get, and get any of those and you can become Climate Pledge Friendly. I'm going to give you more on this Climate Pledge Friendly and Compact by Design and all the certifications I'm going to give you more on this tomorrow. That's what tomorrow is all about, okay? Because that's where the rubber meets the road. We're coming down to brass tacks. So far, we've been showing you what doing those things can do for you. And now today we've shown you how to make a difference in your brand, your products, and your business practices, okay? What you can do to make a difference. Tomorrow I come down to the final point of it, which is on Amazon, on the Amazon.com platform. What should I be doing to bring this all together? Okay, what can I do to bring this all together to where my brand and my products on Amazon appear the most sustainable of any of the other products? I want to get to the top where customers who come and find me recognize me as being my product, as being the best choice, because they care about helping our planet and being more sustainable. They want to vote with their dollars, and they care what they're spending their money on. They don't want throwaway products that are going to, fill up landfills and make more of an impact negatively on the planet. So that's what we're coming down to tomorrow. I'm going to show you exactly how to make that happen on the Amazon.com platform. All right. I think the value bombs are blowing up all over here, man. That's why I was pumped up running around the house yesterday. Ran out of my office and was just like, yes, good stuff, man. I am a training, coaching, Amazon selling geek, by the way. I love it when a plan comes together and we're able to really recognize how to do better by for the people around us, for the planet, and for our businesses, right? That's what it's all about. And that's what today was about. Showing you how to make a difference with your brand, your products, and your business practices. Okay. Hopefully that helped you all. So to recap, we talked about building an Earth Forward brand, talked about the products and how to grow those products in a way that's more sustainable to make all the difference. I'm going to put a bonus up with the being able to look over my shoulder and watch me actually hunt for products, right? Hunt for successful products and then innovating them on the fly. I do it. The video I'm going to share with you is not planned out. I did it on the fly so I could show you organically how this can happen quickly, how you can find a successful product idea and innovate it quickly and get ready to go source it within, less than an hour. Okay. Typically you have to spend multiple hours on your product research because you want to come up with more than one choice, more than one option. You want to pick the best of it. And if you're just starting and you haven't got your niche yet, that's where you got to start, is finding your niche that you want to sell in. It's not finding a product. Now, sometimes you find a product and work backwards. Like you might find a good product idea of a bamboo kitchen tool. Great product idea, low competition, sells for high dollars. I can make it sustainable. And then you might work back from there. Okay, I could start a brand with my niche being kitchen tools or cooking aids, right? That could be your niche. If you've already got a niche, going and finding a product idea is something you got to do, continually. Okay. All right. And then lastly, we talked about talking up the outdoors with your brand story and product listings to attract more earth conscious customers. And in all this, I alluded to what we're going to be really going deep into tomorrow, and that is the Amazon programs, the Climate Pledge Friendly program, the Compact by Design, and how to make this whole I'm a sustainable Amazon seller that has this sustainable green product that I think you should buy. How to make that happen through your messaging and through your certifications on Amazon. Okay. That's coming up tomorrow when we tap into Amazon programs and earn big dollars. And I'm going to be talking about the Amazon Climate Forward programs that can ensure that your products blast on the page one bestseller status for massive profits. And then we're going to be talking about how you can join the Amazon Selling Masters and make your climate forward selling goals your real future, right? I'm going to be introducing you to a special program that I only open up every few months. Okay. It's an exclusive program that really I've been being told for quite a while now that we charge way too little for this program. You'll find out why tomorrow. I'm going to share that with you and show you and give you an opportunity to jump aboard. But You know, at the end of this masterclass, my goal is not to get you into my program. My goal is to be, you know, hopefully getting you to the end of this masterclass and giving you better tools and making you better equipped to make that difference with your brand of products on Amazon, so you can live the dream lifestyle that your family's been looking for, so you can be profitable, and so you can help our planet, man. I have kids and my life still to go, and my grandkids and my grandkids. I kind of want them to be able to live here on the planet Earth in the nice fashion that I've grown accustomed to. So if I can teach you how to do better, then you'll do better, right? And that helps me in the future. Everything we do is selfish-oriented at the base of it, right? It doesn't have to be totally selfish-oriented, but I just wanted to point out that my goal in this Amazon Selling Masterclass, is to impact more people and to teach more people how to do this thing on Amazon better than we've been doing it. All right, so I want to close with Jim Rohn. The bigger the why, the easier the how. Fantastic. What's your why? What's your why? I have a feeling I kind of know what it is, because you wouldn't be here today watching this if it wasn't. But think about that. What is your why? Okay? Because when you figure out your why, the how becomes a lot easier. All right. I hope this has served you well. I'm Patrick Kincaid. I really appreciate you being here. We're at 1 hour and 9 minutes. Right around an hour in all 3 days so far. So I'm sure tomorrow we'll finish up around an hour. But I thank you for being here. You can check out the replay if that's available to you. If you're here in the live masterclass during this week, then the replay will be up by tomorrow morning, and you can check that out by going to the concierge page. So thanks for being here. Watch your emails for the next training. Remember, tomorrow's the next training, day 4, is not tomorrow. It's the day after tomorrow. Okay. If you're here for the live training, it's the day after tomorrow. It's Sunday. Okay. So tomorrow, take the day to catch up, watch the rest of the replays, take a break with your family, whatever you want to do tomorrow. And then we'll return the day after. Okay. All right. Thanks again. I'm Patrick. I really appreciate you all being here. Have a good one, and we will look forward to seeing you moving onward and upward as we go. Take care. Again with the mouse shutting down.